Hello everyone, I believe we should be live right now. Yes, this is great. I'm going to quickly share the link of this live session with our friends on Facebook, as always. Okay, here we are. Brilliant. So, welcome, benvenuti a questa diretta. Welcome to this live session. This is Italian Mastery. We have these live sessions every week. These are sessions where people can ask me any questions and comment, and we together try to make these sessions interactive so that we can learn, practice, and improve our Italian. Miglioriamo il nostro italiano. So I'm going to be waiting for about 1 minute to see to wait for more people to turn up. If you're seeing this video as a recorded session, we are now going live on YouTube, but we might do differently in the future. But we take these videos, these video recordings, and we post them in different platforms. Don't worry if you don't see the chat, the live chat, because I copy paste the comments that are most relevant into our screen. In these chats, in these sessions, we usually describe images. So we take a look at an image and we describe what we see. And this is very helpful because it trains people not only to speak Italian, but also to think in Italian. Bene, aspettiamo ancora mezzo minuto. Let's wait for another minute or so, and we can get started. The image you can see to my left or right is the image that we're going to be describing and talking about today. But you're always welcome to ask me questions. And if you see this as a recorded video, post a comment or visit italianmastery.com and ask your questions. Bene, allora. Possiamo cominciare. Let's begin. Please go ahead and write some comments or write some, what you see in the image, a description, or it could be some, made up dialogue in Italian. I'm going to copy paste it into a screen and we're going to diagnose it and discuss it. Diana, I don't see the link on Facebook. Let me just take a look. Yeah, I posted the link, so people should be able to see it. I'm on YouTube. Yeah. Of course, we are on YouTube. The video is on YouTube, and I posted the link in the Facebook group, so people from the Facebook group should be able to see it. It's one of the last post in the group chat. Yeah, I also got the notification. So okay, so let's come up with a few examples. I guess I'm technically challenged. No, I think that some of these, the way these things work is quite confusing. I wish there was like a link that we could send ahead of time. There's probably a way to do that, and we'll do that in the future. I'm also considering putting the chats on the burn them into the video itself. But again, like this requires a little bit more knowledge. I might get to it at some point. Arturo, ciao Claudio, ciao Arturo. Come state? Come stai? È piuttosto freddo qui in Inghilterra. Io sono in Inghilterra adesso e fa un po' freddo. It's a bit cold. Il cavallo... Oh, ok. Ciao Mark. Il cavallo va nella strada. So, cosa vedi nella foto? What do you see in the photo? We have il cavallo va nella strada. So this is the first example that I'm going to tackle. That's the first example that was posted. Il cavallo va nella strada. We can see that there's a horse or a donkey, looks like a horse, in the photo. So cavallo is the word for horse. Cavallo. It's a great word to remember. It's a very common animal, cavallo. Fun fact, Italians do eat horse meat, and that's something that's not common in many countries. Horse meat. So maybe you're sort of not very pleased with hearing about this or having this being discussed, but it is true. Carne di cavallo. So meat of horse. That's the literal translation. Carne di cavallo. Carne di maiale, for example, that would be pork. Carne di maiale. Again, we see the word cavallo pop up because it's indeed a common word. Let's highlight it. Try to be consistent with this styling. I'm not always consistent. There you go. Cavallo. Something interesting to notice is that, that's all right, is that there is a saying in Italian, sono a cavallo. Sono a cavallo. First of all, let's ask the people in the chat, and if you're watching this as a recording, think about it. What does it mean? Sono a cavallo. What do you think it means? It's kind of a phrase, but it's also got a literal meaning, right? Sono a cavallo. First of all, sono can be io sono or loro sono. In other words, you know that we have conjugations in Italian. I have is different from you have, is different from he or she has, and that's not the case in English, not the case in other languages. You know, Chinese, for example, English, but many languages, the verb is always the same. You make the subject explicit. In Italian, we don't do that, but there is there is a problem when we have conjugations such as I am or I do, because I am and they are is the same, looks the same. So we can be explicit and say loro sono, io sono. But this is beyond the point. So what do you think it means, sono a cavallo? Let me see. I am a horse. I am a horse? No. Okay, so you guys posted a lot of comments, and I'm gonna go through them one by one. That's great. But in response to my question, Venkatesh says, "Come sono a casa." I'm not sure if this is a response to my question or not, but I interpret it as such. So Venkatesh says, "Sono a cavallo" means something like I am a home, or something like that. Sono a casa. That's not the meaning. The meaning is I am literally on top of the horse, right? I'm riding. I'm about to ride the horse, right? I am on a horse. Sono a cavallo. Or it could be they are on a horse. We don't know. We don't know the subject, but that's beyond the point. What I am saying is that this is also a phrase. So when used in a context where there's no horses, this means I have arrived. I have arrived. I'm almost there. Or if you are completing a mission, sono a cavallo means I am on top of it. I am most of the way there. Sono a cavallo. I am on top of it. Whatever that means in that context. Have you washed the dishes? Have you paid your taxes? Sono a cavallo. It means, yes, I'm on top of it. I know I'm going to accomplish it. I'm most of the way there. And this is confusing because sometimes this exact phrase can have different meanings in different languages. So cavallo is definitely a very common word. Let's go back to the example. Il cavallo va nella strada. As I think the same author of this example suggests, il cavallo, il maschile, il cavallo, va, so goes, va is third person singular, to go. Andare. Remember, andare, io vado. Tu vai. Lui va. Lei va. Etc. So we need va. Il cavallo va nella... Well, in the road would be in la strada. Strada is feminine, so we need la. And then, of course, we have the usual scenario in Italian. We have a preposition, in this case, and the definite article, la. This transforms into nella, which is a complex preposition. So nothing too new here. Il cavallo va nella strada. All right, that's a fair enough example. Va nella strada, that's okay. We could have also said il cavallo è nella strada. Or, which obviously means is on the road, or il cavallo sta o percorre la strada. Percorre, it means it's going, it's moving from A to B. Percorre, so goes along the road, right? It's not crossing the road, it's going along the road. Percorre comes from percorso, right? Path. Percorso means path. Percorso, path, right? Il cavallo percorre la strada. Of course, we can change the tense from present to present continuous. Il cavallo sta percorrendo la strada. So this is if it was a live, footage, and the reporter was like, oh, okay, well, the horse is doing this, is doing that, is doing the other, and now it is doing XYZ. Sta percorrendo la strada. The gender of the noun stays the same. The gender of the other noun, strada, also stays the same. Bene, bene, bene. Tanti esempi oggi. Sono contento. Many examples today. I am very happy. Sono contento. Il cavallo va nella strada. Ok. Anch'io. L'uomo e la donna viaggiano a cavallo. L'uomo fuma una sigaretta. Fantastic. Let me just copy paste. L'uomo e la donna viaggiano a cavallo. L'uomo fuma una sigaretta. Okay, so we see the same word. Obviously, it means cavallo, horse. Uomo, donna. These are super important words. So everybody should know what these words mean, right? Uomo means man, and donna means woman. So we are going to find suitable. This is more difficult. Let's try to do this. Viaggiano a cavallo. So this is interesting. So l'uomo, so the man, e la donna, and the woman, viaggiano. So they're traveling. Viaggiano comes from viaggiare. Very simple verb. Viaggiare, to travel. Viaggiano a cavallo. Now this is great because a is the preposition used for describing how we move. For example, vado al supermercato a piedi. I go to the supermarket on foot, by walk, a piedi. So this is how it's said in Italian. Vado a cavallo. That's another example. Sometimes we use in. For example, vado in macchina. I go by car, or I drive. I use the car. Vado in macchina. How do you go? I'll get the car. Vado in macchina, vado al supermercato a piedi, vado a cavallo, eccetera. Perfectly correct. L'uomo, again, man, the man. It would be lo uomo, but we have two vowels close together. So we have the apostrophe. Lo uomo, l'uomo. Fuma, fuma. This is an interesting word. Smokes, right? Fumare. Perfectly regular verb. Very common, very... A lot of people smoke in Italy, actually. It's... I'm always a little bit surprised when I go down to Italy and find out that a lot of, especially women, smoke. Fumare, or maybe that's just my impression, but... fumare. Io fumo. Fumo. Tu fumi. Lui, lei fuma. Noi fumiamo. Voi fumate. Loro fumano. So, fuma. Una sigaretta. The man smokes a cigarette. This is, again, completely correct. Sigaretta is feminine and it requires a feminine article. So the man smokes a cigarette. Una sigaretta. If the man was smoking a cigar, for example, cigar is masculine. L'uomo fuma un sigaro. L'uomo fuma un sigaro. Sigaro, masculine, and it's got its article that goes along with that gender and number. Excellent, excellent. Il cavallo... Ok, l'uomo e la donna viaggiano a cavallo. L'uomo fuma una sigaretta. You know, if I recommend you guys practice with these examples because these are good examples, right? If there's something wrong, I'll let you know. This is basically the trust that you give me, and I take that seriously. So if there's an example that's off, I'll let you know, like I do every time. Il cavallo va nella strada con la donna e i suoi bambini. Great. Il cavallo va nella strada con... Was it con? Don't want to misrepresent. Il cavallo va nella strada con la donna e i suoi bambini. Con la donna e i suoi bambini. Ok. We've already seen cavallo. We know what it means. It means horse. Va, we've already seen that. Va, These are very important verbs, but also important conjugations. Because so many times you're going to have to describe a third person, a third party, you know, whoever that is. It could be an animal, could be a man, could be a woman, could be a thing, right? Describing a building or a bridge or whatever. So it's very important to learn it is, va, it goes. So the horse goes nella strada, strada, road. And by the way, in English you have road, street, etc. You have that pattern of all that vocab exists in Italian as well, but strada is way more common than anything else. So it's yeah, very important. Va nella strada con la donna, with the woman, e i suoi bambini, and her children. Now bear in mind, this is a language fail, but the same would happen in English, right? So suoi, we don't know if it's suoi di lei or suoi di lui, il cavallo. But obviously the context makes it clear. Il cavallo va nella strada con la donna e i suoi bambini. E i bambini di lei, right? Suoi is di lei. Not they don't belong to the horse, they belong to the woman, and only the context informs us that that's the case. Also, in this case, I would change this. Although it's not wrong, I would change nella with lungo, right? So I would say il cavallo va lungo la strada. As in, again, it's the nuance of, okay, is the horse like getting in the way of something? Is, there's a road and the horse just goes into it? Or as if it was a pool or like a very confined place, location? Or is there a very long road, as far as you and I know, and the horse is going along that road? So, va lungo la strada. As opposed to in, because this is in la, right? This is what's happening behind the scenes here. In. And we say, instead of in, we could have lungo, right? This is a bit too big, actually. Yeah. I hope that's clear. They're both correct, but one is a little bit more correct. L'uomo e la donna viaggiano a cavallo. It does seem like a cigarette, by the way. Il cavallo va nella strada con la donna e i suoi bambini. 2 persone e un cavallo sulla una strada nelle montagne. Mm-hmm. Bene, bene, bene. Due persone e un cavallo. 2 persone e un cavallo sulla una strada nelle montagne. Sulla una strada nelle montagne. Okay, so this is an interesting sentence. 2 persone. So the question is probably, what do you see? You see 2 persone. So 2 people. This is very simple. 2 people. Remember, in Italian, you don't have to think about persons, people. It's always persone. E un cavallo. So 2 people and a horse. If I can spell. 2 people and a horse. Sulla una strada. Okay, so here there's an issue. Either you say sulla. This means on the street or road, right? On the road. 2 persone e un cavallo sulla strada. I'm getting everything confused. Sorry, I'm writing English and Italian on the same. 2 people and a horse on the road. So 2 persone e un cavallo sulla strada. Sulla, right? Sulla is a compound, a complex preposition. Su plus definite article la. Now, if you want to say 2 people and a horse on a road, in other words, if you want to use the indefinite article, 2 people and a horse on a road. This is even more descriptive, like, creating even more distance. On a road, then 2 persone e un cavallo su una strada. Now, when we have a preposition, su in this case, it could be in, di, a, etc. In this case, we have su. This is the preposition. And an indefinite article, una, a road, a rabbit, a bottle. When we have an indefinite article, we cannot have the articular preposition. So the indefinite article and the simple preposition don't ever bind. They stay the way they are. So we cannot have them both. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So sulla is already su plus the definite article. So you cannot say sulla una strada, because that would be too much. You can just say su una strada. And that's basically, an important point to make. I'm just going to give it a little background. There you go. Remove that now. Okay. Fantastic. I'm a horse, due persone e un cavallo sulla strada. Nelle montagne. Oh, in the mountains. Perfectly right. Nelle montagne. In the mountains, on the mountains. That's perfect. Nelle montagne, plural. Montagna is feminine. Come sono a casa, vedo il carrettino. Oh, interesting. Carrettino. Ok. Il carro. Carro. So we haven't even discussed this word. Carriage. Carriage. Carro. Il carro. Or un carro. Now the word that was used in the chats is even more advanced, is carrettino, which of course works by adding the so-called alterations. We look at alteration in the university course, go on italianmastery.com if you want to learn more about it. Basically, in Italian, you can have effects added onto a word by changing the ending. So a normal word, a normal noun, such as carro, or it could be cane, gatto, dog, cat, any noun, anything, can then have different endings. Gattino, gattone, to mean a big cat, a small cat, etc., or a bad cat, a good cat. So that's why this word is a little bit more advanced. Of course, you can call it carrettino if that's that's what you're into, or that's the angle that you want to, the perspective that you want to amplify or communicate. Vedo il carrettino, and by the way, absolutely correct. Vedo, I see il carrettino. I see the carriage, or the small carriage in this case. Oh, una domanda. Perché I am walking on the road is sto camminando per strada, but not sto camminando sulla strada. Okay. I'm just going to copy paste the whole question so that it's easy to see. Ok, una domanda, fantastic, a question, una domanda, perfect, perché, this is a spelling, a typo, we need the acute accent, there we go, perché I am walking on the road is sto camminando per strada. but not sto camminando sulla strada. So the answer to your question is you are 100% correct. I am walking on the road is sulla strada. Sulla strada. So it is sto camminando sulla strada. That's the exact translation. Sto camminando per strada. I don't think I mentioned this before. Per strada. So this is a variation. I mean, of course, we can talk about things in slightly different ways, using slightly different words. This happens in English, it happens in Italian, it happens in most languages. When we look at I'm walking on the road, is sto camminando sulla strada. End of story. So if we paint this orange, maybe how about blue? How about green? Yeah. Then we ought to paint this in the same color because this means the same thing. So these two guys are friends. Yeah. When it comes to sto camminando per strada, it means I am, per is another preposition, which in this case doesn't even need the article. It could be per la strada. It could be, but we can also say per strada. Per strada means on the streets in general. Like I am on the street, like at the street level. I'm not in a building. I'm not underground, taking the subway. I'm not flying on a helicopter. I am at the street level. I could be doing shopping, etc. So per strada is a little bit more vague and maybe less formal. Sto camminando per strada. It means literally through. Per is through. So I'm walking through the streets. I'm not on the street. I am just around. I'm about, I would say. So this is another variation of something that has similar meaning, but not exactly the same meaning. So I hope to have answered your question. And oh my goodness, we've already been live for 40 minutes. So I'm going to answer the last question and then I'm going to wrap up super quickly. This has been an incredible session. I think we've gone through a few examples. Se avete domande, fatele adesso. If you have questions, ask them now. If I don't have time to answer them, I can just prepare the answer for the next session next week. So legs, a piedi and max. Okay, let me just copy paste this. So this is the last, probably the last questions that we're going to tackle. Then I'm going to start wrapping up. So legs, animals and people, a piedi, and machines in. Okay, so yeah, this is a good question. And the answer is contained within the question. So yes, when we talk about, these things are really learned through repetition, right? There isn't really a major pattern. Also, there's very few cases, right? I can go by walk, I can go by bus, I can go by train. There's not many ways to get to a place. And we say a piedi when we say by foot. In macchina, by car. Con il treno, col treno. Vado col treno. Yeah, con il treno. By train. Con l'autobus. By bus. By bis, I don't know what that means. By bus, a piedi, a cavallo. This is not very common, but yeah, on a horse, on horseback. remember that you can also be literal and always use con. So I go with something, by using something. But of course, it might not be convenient to use or even common, right? Vado con I piedi, it's a little bit, really? And what about the knees? Are you bringing them with you? No. So vado a piedi. You can also say cammino. So how do you go from A to B? Come vai al ristorante? Cammino. I walk, right? You can say that. Or vado a piedi. Vado a piedi. Cammino. These are options that you have as well. So I'm very excited to say that we've had a very great session. Learn Italian Live, episode 28. We've been doing this for a minute, and we've described this image well. I think there were many examples. There were lots of activity in the chat. Many people that put their pride on, aside to learn Italian. I appreciate that. I respect that. And everybody who's watching this video, I really thank you. Share the word, share the love, hit the thumbs up button. That helps incredibly. And we're going to have some good news, some exciting news in the next week or so. But I'm going to keep you in suspense and tell you about these things as the time comes. Not yet. But grazie a tutti. Se non avete questions, se non avete domande, ci vediamo la prossima domenica. So we'll see each other next Sunday if you don't have any more questions. Sono contento. Avete creato degli esempi ottimi e ci vediamo presto. Buona domenica a tutti, grazie e arrivederci. Ciao 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 ciao. Bye everyone. I'll see you next week.